This is how we measure our well output. Right here it tells us we're pumping approximately 5 gallons a minute. I also like to use a clock that actually gives me total gallons. That way we can compare the two when we're done. We do a 2 to 3 hour well test. Sometimes we'll get a fluctuation here. Our Colorado well test, we don't want to see more than a 10% change in flow from the start to the finish, but that doesn't mean we'll be constant here. I did one the other day that had a 20-60 well pressure switch. So the pressure at 60, the amount of volume we get is much more than what we get at 20. So that pump was on, off, on, off. So that way we could look and see exactly how many gallons we flowed. I also use this when I turn it backwards, it runs backwards so that I can always start about zero. You know, my meter could have, 20,000 gallons of water pumped on it, but I like to keep it down to a start. So when I look at it, I take a picture. When I'm all done, I take a picture, and then I know exactly how much water I flowed. Depending on if we're using a cistern or if we're just pumping straight out of the ground, depends on how we're using this. Sometimes, like on this house, we have a cistern. We have to know how much water we're pumping so that when the well kicks on and starts filling the cistern, we can use math and calculate how much water we're actually getting out of the well. Before you ever start pumping water, first, I always find out where the leach field is, because you don't want to pump any water near the leach field. 2, you want to find some kind of break that you're not going to cause soil erosion. I take pictures of the area I'm pumping before I start pumping, during pumping, and at the end. And I have had sellers accuse me of pumping water on their leach field or actually putting water in the house and causing their leach field to fail the septic exam. So we can also cause soil erosion. So I like to use rocks, vegetation, something like this. When we're pumping, the water gets dispersed, gets broken up. It doesn't cause erosion. But again, I'm going to take a picture when we're all done here to show that the site is how we found it.